Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like fight day music.
Fight, 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 fight.
Yes, the UFC back in Brazil. UFC Sao Paulo kicking off in a little over 28 minutes time, as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, as we are live here for the People's Pre-Fight Show to get you ready for this UFC Sao Paulo card. Thank you for joining us. I am Mike Hack, being joined by the baddest stash in all of MMA on the ones and twos, my fellow hat wearer. He is Casey Leydon. How many times will he spin that chair? It hit the microphone. One and a half. One and a half spins. Okay. It's not that bad of a card.
I'm happy with it.
Good.
I'm happy with it.
I think the one we did before UFC 294, you didn't even spin the chair.
Nah. I stood up. I wasn't.
You walked out of the room. Yeah, you got right out of the chair. So, look, we've been doing the People's Pre-Fight Show for a long time. If you happen to be stumbling upon this for the first time to get you ready for this card, we're just going to answer your questions the entire time. We'll answer your UFC Sao Paulo questions. If you got other questions, why the hell not? Let's get after it. There's not a ton of storyline with this card. It's just fights, which isn't a bad thing. I think this is going to be like a fun watch, but it's not like a card with outside of the main event that has a ton of divisional stakes and title implications, if you will, but some intriguing matchups nonetheless.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't have too much to kind of say. It's a card. I'm interested in it, but
yeah, we're just gonna have some fun here.
Yeah. All right, questions. Let me start from the very top here. All right, let's go. Let's talk about the main event.
Sarah, will Almeida suplex Lewis, or will he get caught with an uppercut on the way in? Will Lewis just stand up BJJ be the key to victory? I don't know if he's going to... I mean, if he just belly-to-back suplexes
that would be so...
Derrick Lewis like Rick Steiner style, I will lose my friggin' mind.
Has anyone suplexed Derrick Lewis? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Has his feet gone above his head at any point? I know he's got taken down, obviously, but has anything where he's like, whoa, I don't
know if anyone's hip tossed him or anything like that. I don't remember seeing it, but Jailton's not a big suplex guy.
No.
I mean, I'm sure he's landed a suplex or two, but look, he's got a front kick, he's going to shoot a double, and he's going to tackle Derrick Lewis to the mat. Now, if he gets back up, things could get very interesting, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Lewis's anti-BJJ power up to your feet strategy is actually a good thing in this fight, or do you think a more, technical BJJ side of things is a better way to go? I mean, Shamil Abdurakhimov didn't really have a ton of success with that either, so.
I just worry about Derrick Lewis just burning a lot of energy with his anti-jiu-jitsu or whatever you want to call it. Just burning energy. And Almeida's top game is just it's pretty incredible. And I would be looking forward to this fight way, way, way more if this was full camp Lewis. I don't want to be negative, but it's it kind of feels like just a paycheck for Lewis tonight. I'm hoping that's not true. I'm hoping this is fully motivated. I want to fight for the title. I want to prove, I deserve that next title shot or whatever. But I'm not sold on that. And I just kind of feel facing a guy like Almeida and his strengths, you can't go into this so short notice. What is it? 2 weeks notice? 1 week notice? Week and a half?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks. Really it's only 1 week because the last week is just travel and getting accustomed to the new jet lag and everything. So really it's 1 week. You're not gonna be able to learn anything new, when you're in Sao Paulo. But I'm looking. It's one of those fights where I'm gonna be excited about it, but after about 30 seconds, I could be going, oh, okay.
So here's the thing. I understand the full camp notion when it comes to Volk getting ready to fight Islam Makhachev. I get that. I totally get it. In hindsight, it makes a lot more sense. But it's not like if Derrick Lewis came in looking svelte and out of shape and like not into it at all, like just rolled off the couch and flew to Brazil to take this fight and then struggled to make 265, I'd kind of feel similar. But dude looks in good shape. The face is still skinny. He's still got some abs sticking out. He's in good shape. He's been working. So the fact of the matter is, with Derrick's style, he's not he doesn't strike me as a big, oh, we need 12 weeks to prepare for what this guy's going to bring to the table. No, Derrick's just who he is at this point, and he's just going to do what he does. So I honestly don't feel like, especially seeing what Derrick looks like physically, I mean, it's just a horrible matchup no matter what. Whether it's 12 days or 14 days or 14 weeks, this is a terrible fight for him. But Derrick does hit like a truck. He's in really good shape, seems to be taking things seriously. And I don't think that matters here. I think the fight probably goes the same way either way, full camp or not.
Yeah.
Either Derrick.
I want to say Curtis Blaydes was a horrible matchup for Derrick Lewis, and Derrick Lewis won that. So
yeah. And this could be worse for Jailton. Jailton's getting ready for Curtis Blaydes with like the big step up, and now he's going to go a completely different guy.
This is very true.
And, very true. Who is not going to do anything Curtis Blaydes is going to do. And you're right. It is a paycheck, but that's what every fight is to Derrick. It's not like he's a big MMA fan and watches every event and just has to be a part of it. He's like, no, I just signed this new 8-fight deal. He's getting paid a whole more money than he's ever made in the UFC in a lot of respects. So go get it, man. It'll be interesting. Like the first 30 seconds of this fight's going to be super interesting. Is Derrick going to come out passive, or is he just going to run at Almeida and try to kill him immediately?
What if he tries to flying knee again?
Oh, that'd be the best. That would be the best.
It'd be such a horrible idea against someone like Almeida, but it'd be kind of awesome too. Like, F it, just do it.
Oh my God. It's got to be interesting.
Yeah, I am interested in Maven. I'm more interested in the Curtis Blaydes one because of the styles. But this UFC, they did what they did. I mean, this is a great replacement for Blaydes. Yeah.
Could have done a lot worse here.
Yes.
I figure this is coming. Joseph Bilotti, what are your thoughts on Pennington versus Bueno Silva for the vacant belt UFC 297? Will we see Pena going off in the MMA or Monday? Probably the latter. I would assume she's going to go and talk about this. So this is a weird one to me, Casey, and not the fight. Like I was a little surprised to see MBS getting it over Pena, but then you realize like Pena's hurt and you got to move forward with this thing. It's been so long. Pennington's been ready to go. Like, let's just put something on the books. And so for so many heck of a mornings over the last several weeks since Nunes vacated the belt, I've gotten at least 2 or 3 people a week asking when this vacant bantamweight title fight is going to be made. And now it's made. And for some reason, everyone's like dumping on it.
Yeah.
Which is so strange. And let me just say this. This is not the main event. It's not expected to be the main event. Now, could there be a world where the UFC tries to put other fights above it and they don't come together and this ends up being the main event? Sure. But from what I understand, this is not going to headline UFC 297, at least as of right now. So that is not the expectation that this is going to be the main event. So if you feel like, if you're complaining because you feel like, oh man, 2 trips to Canada and we get women's bantamweight title fights in the main event, like there's a part of me that's like, okay, I understand because you're paying a lot of money for tickets or whatever. And this is not like a big level, like a big time headliner that we have to watch. But this is a good fight. Like we get to move this division forward in some way, right? We got to crown a champion here and at least try to do something. So I don't really understand the negativity when everybody's been asking for the last 6 months, when are we going to crown a new bantamweight champion? So, but if you're concerned about whether or not it's going to headline, as of now, it's not expected to. So you don't have to worry about that as of now.
Yeah. Pretty much everything you said. I think this is the correct main event to make. I'm glad Bueno Silva wasn't punished in terms of ranking wise. Her suspension for Adderall, was it some? Yep. Yeah, Adderall. Wait, real quick. Was that suspension? Was that by the commission or by USADA?
Commission.
Commission. Okay, which is two different things. Okay, that's important. I think it's important for people to know. I wasn't 100% sure on that either. Yeah, I like the main. I like this fight. I think it's a great co-main event for a pay-per-view. And yeah, I guess this leads into this question.
Any update on Volk still trying to fight Topuria on January 20th? Nothing yet.
Is this the only? Is this the only fight that could? Is there something else out there? Am I missing something?
Do Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Do that. That's the one. Now there is travel concerns in Canada. I have not looked at Sean Strickland's like police record or anything. It's not easy to get into Canada. You basically get a speeding ticket, and you could have a hard time getting into Canada these days. So hopefully that's not a problem. I'm not trying to throw anything out there egregiously, but I'm just saying, you never know. I want to see Volk Topuria. I don't want to see it January 20th. I do not want to see it January 20th. Give it to me in March. Give it to me as like a second or third title fight at UFC 300. Like, I'm cool with that. If they do it, fine. Like, I'll find my way to get into it. It's more interesting. I think it's a lot more competitive with Topuria taking, if it's January 20th, but nothing as of yet. Nothing as of yet. But Volk's going to try to get there January 20th.
Yeah, I highly doubt. Man, but if it's not Volk Topuria and Strickland can't get into Canada, what do we got? I'm
trying to. I mean, do you do like Zhang Weili in the main event? Which would be weird because they're going to freaking Shanghai December 9th. And it doesn't seem like that's going to headline. Oh, man, I don't know. I'm trying to think. O'Malley's probably not going to headline that one. Based on like the schedule I'm hearing, I'd be shocked if they go O'Malley Cheeto for that card. Maybe they do Holloway Topuria for the interim title as the main event, which isn't a bad one for Canada. They freaking love Max Holloway in Toronto.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are tickets for sale yet in that Toronto event? Are they even selling tickets yet?
I don't think so. I don't think they've actually I don't think the UFC has actually officially announced they're going to Toronto yet. Like, they are going to Toronto. That is for sure. But I don't think the UFC has actually come out and announced they're going to Toronto yet.
So the announcement for the Bantamweight title, is that just for a date? That's not for a city?
The UFC hasn't announced that fight.
Oh, okay. We're going on other confirmations.
Yeah. So basically, AG Fight, a very reputable Brazilian outlet, reported it yesterday afternoon. I confirmed both sides. By the time I confirmed the second side, it was like 2:30 this morning. So contracts are signed. This fight's happening. And yeah, it's happening in Toronto. At least that's what I'm told. The fighters have been told, the contracts are saying it's Toronto, but the UFC just hasn't officially announced the fight. Now, maybe they'll announce the December 9th main event on this card coming up later on today. Maybe they'll announce this fight officially during UFC Sao Paulo's broadcast. I don't know, but we shall see.
Back to Derrick Lewis. This is kind of old news, but I think it's kind of relevant again to talk about.
Lewis should have gone to PFL to get that MMA bag. I'm sure Francis wants that back. This is so strange now because Derrick, from what I understand, there was no thought of going to free agency. When that fight was over, he just said, that was my last fight on my deal. And that was basically just like hey, UFC, I'm here. Smile. Let's do this. He didn't even want to test the market at all. So the UFC just was like, yeah, we'll give you 8 fights and a whole bunch of money. And he's like, cool, I'm in. He's got a very loyal perspective towards the UFC. Having said that, had Derrick tested free agency and was preparing to fight Francis Ngannou perhaps in March, to sign with PFL, they're telling him hey, Francis is gonna go fight Tyson, then you're gonna fight him in March. Francis ain't fighting the PFL in March. I'll be stunned if that happens. So Derrick would just be kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting, and he's certainly not going to do the season, because why the hell would you do that? I actually don't I don't know. I don't know if he there was any bag fumbling here. I'm not really sure.
I think Derrick Lewis went with the safer bet rather than the
Agreed.
bigger bet. I guess I'm not. You know what I'm trying to say. I think that the potential, if he would have waited it out and took his chance, free agency, not knowing how the Francis versus Fury fight would have turned out. Now, if Francis would have got, say, knocked out or just completely dominated for 10 rounds, it was just like, okay, what a, whatever fight. Then, yeah, the Francis Lewis fight in MMA doesn't seem as spectacular. But now with Francis, obviously, his incredible performance, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, Derrick Lewis made a decision. It's kind of, can't go back in time. It'll be interesting.
How many guys in Derrick's position right now who are 2-4 in their last 6, with the only 2 wins since August of 2021 are against Chris Daukaus and Marcus Rogerio de Lima, and was finished in all 4 of his losses. 2-4 in his last 6 are getting these types of contracts. Not many. So the UFC obviously has a lot invested in him. They like him a lot. Dana White basically has said in the past that even if he lost the Rogerio de Lima fight, like, he's got a job with them forever. He's just kind of one of those dudes. So
I see that. I see if Derrick Lewis is thinking not this year, next year, he's thinking 10 years from now. Derrick Lewis is going to be if he leaves the UFC, he might not be a UFC Hall of Famer. If he finishes his career in the UFC, he is without a doubt a UFC Hall of Famer, and he is potentially on that desk every weekend and wherever, for the Apex cards, with next to Karen Bryant, I don't know, something like that, where he's doing some sort of analysis work, and like I'm thinking more like almost like not in the very traditional professional sense, but more like how Shaq is on that that NBA.
That'd be incredible.
But I kind of think of Derrick Lewis like that kind of Shaq. Who's the Big Papi type of role, just like this kind of good personality who kind of obviously has great insight, but just a unique insight. So that'll be really interesting if Derrick Lewis, if he can transition after his fighting career into something like that. That'd be really cool. So I get why you want to stay in the UFC family. It's definitely the safer pick.
Yeah. And plus, if he goes to PFL, he's going to have to go to like every single event and show his face on TV, and he don't want to do that. He don't want to leave Houston. He just wants to get in that Lamborghini and drive around and not watch fights and not even have to worry about MMA. So,
okay. All right.
When did you get cauliflower hair, Casey?
I got it, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. Probably started blowing up about 3 months into a lot of intense grappling and me getting stuck in guillotines and working my way out. So, but I only have it on one ear. I have it bad on one ear. This ear is just really, it didn't blow up as much, but it is like hard. But this one, yeah. And so but I'm getting to that point where my earbuds are starting to poke out a little bit. So it's, cauliflower ear is not cool. It sucks. It sucks.
It's the badge of honor in some respect.
Yeah, but it is not comfortable. And now I'm getting that little thing on. Actually, it's not the cauliflower ear. It's the behind the ear. I get a little every once in a while. It starts ripping behind the ear, and it's just no good.
Doesn't sound like fun. Best Screeching Weasels album?
So I'm wearing a Screeching Weasel shirt.
Nice.
Boogada, boogada, boogada. I'm going to go with that one.
Yes, I will concur. There's no way Angela Hill loses this fight, right? And if she does, she retires, right? Right? 0.0?
Well, I don't know what that means. Why would she retire off a loss? It's a good fight. Way too low in the card. It's an exciting fight. It makes sense. Denise, was it? No, Denise Gomez. Is it Denise Gomez?
Denise Gomes.
Oh, Denise Gomes. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it's a good fight. I wish it was a little higher in the card, but yeah, I don't. Why do people want her to retire? Boy, she lost to Mackenzie Dern. What's the big deal?
Yeah, she got she fought freaking angry Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah, and,
and she survived, man.
Yeah, and she went 25 minutes, and like, I mean, I hate doing the whole, oh, you got your butt kicked, so let's just talk about how tough you are. But man, Angela Hill is freaking tough. She survived 25 minutes of a brutal butt kicking. Like it's one of those things. If she would have got subbed in the first round, we're like, you got Mackenzie Dern got you. But for some reason, when you lose for 25 minutes, I don't know. We just, it sticks in our heads longer. But now I was really impressed with Mackenzie Dern. I was really impressed by Angela Hill surviving 25 minutes in very bad positions against Mackenzie Dern. So she can lose this fight. Denise Gomes is a good prospect, coming off a really spectacular knockout win. And I'm excited about the fight. I think it's the third fight of the night.
Yeah, like I understand the record, but let's go back to 2019. June of 2019, loses to Yan Xiaonan, who's about to fight for the belt.
And that was super close. Yeah.
Finishes Ariane Carnelossi, finishes Hannah Cyphers, beats Loma Lookboonmee. I think that, and I even said at the time, I think that win's going to age very well. Mm-hmm. Loses back-to-back split decisions to Claudia Gadelia and Michelle Waterson-Gomez, both of which a lot of people thought she won that fight. Ashley Yoder, she wins. She loses to Tisha Torres, but a lot of people lose to Tisha Torres.
Yeah.
Her other losses are to Amanda Lemos, who just fought for the belt.
That was super close.
And a lot of people felt Angela won that fight, too.
Yeah.
She loses to Verna Jandiroba, who's been on fire. She beat Lupi Godinez, a win that is going to age incredibly well.
I love Lupi. Like, I thought Lupi was going to whoop up on Angela that fight. And I was so impressed by Angela that fight.
And then she cashes an underdog against Emily Ducote. And then she lost to Mackenzie Dern. Like, she's not getting the doors blown out. Like, Mackenzie Dern had the performance of her lifetime.
Yeah, just
in that fight.
Give credit to Mackenzie.
This is a good dog spot on Angela Hill for sure. I'm picking Gomes to win, like a very competitive decision, but Angela Hill isn't in like boring fights really. She's in like fun scraps. There's value for that.
Yeah, and against high level strawweights all the time.
Yeah, she's a great litmus test. She's a tremendous litmus test for this division. If you're going to be a top 15 fighter, you got to beat her. You got to beat her. And she's going to make you work for it. So there is value to her position in this promotion. Is she going to go and fight for the strawweight title? Probably not. But is she going to be the litmus test for a lot of these up-and-comers at 115? There's some good ones coming up. Yeah. It's her, and then it's Tisha once she's ready to come back.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So yeah. I don't think she retires if she loses.
No, not at all.
This is gonna be a 24th UFC fight. That's crazy.
That's great for someone that was released from the UFC after her first. Was it when?
That was 2015. She got released after the Rose loss.
Yeah, and think about it. You get released after losing the freaking Rose. Like, come on, that's not right. You know. But I think in the end, it turned out great for Angela because she went to Invicta. Won the Invicta Championship. She fought, kind of really built up her career, her confidence, and then came back and fought freaking Jessica Andrade her first fight back to the UFC, and probably her fight of her career. That was just one of the best strawweight fights you're ever going to see. And we talk about I don't know, level of competition. Angela Hill has an incredibly high level of competition that she's had to fight.
It's nuts, dude.
At 115, yeah.
Dude, she was 1-0 when she went on The Ultimate Fighter.
1-0.
And as a 1-0 pro, she had to fight Carla Esparza on The Ultimate Fighter. Then she wins in the finale. And her first two UFC fights after that are Tisha Torres and Rose Namajunas. And then she gets released and goes to Invicta and wins 4 straight fights and comes back. And her first fight back was freaking Jessica Andrade.
Yeah.
She's got Barboza-esque strength of schedule.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, yeah, I know. Angela Hill was great. All right. Okay.
How bad would a loss hurt Almeida? Who would he have to fight? Ooh, if he loses. Boy, he's not like out of title contention for the rest of his career, but it's a big setback. It's a big setback if he loses this fight, I think.
Yeah, I think if he loses, we might just look at him as, the Brazilian Curtis Blades. Kind of, it's like he's a really good grappler, but if you punch him hard, he'll get. I mean that's pretty much. Well, I mean that's everyone's script, and I get punched really hard to be honest. But I short notice. I don't think it's the end of the world for Almeida. Obviously, it's setback. You know, you have to have a couple more wins to get that title shot. But
I wonder if he loses this fight, does he go back to 205?
Ooh. What does he say about that? I haven't really watched too much of his interviews. Does he?
He's never said he's done at 205. He's basically a blown up light heavyweight, and he's doing what he's been doing.
He's what do you weigh like around 230 something?
He's like 230 something. He only went up to heavyweight because he was scheduled to fight at 205 against somebody else, and it was a short notice replacement. And the only one who's like, yeah, I'll fight him was Parker Porter. So they had to do it at heavyweight. Yeah. So if he loses, maybe he goes back to 205. There's not he doesn't have to do a ton of work down there, really. They'd probably throw him in a pretty big. They'd give him maybe like an Anthony Smith type, like right off the bat, and then he wins. He's probably 2 or 3 wins away, fighting for the 205-pound title as well.
Yeah.
Outside of Jamal Hill, there's no like clear cut number 1 guy right now because Ankalaev and Walker had that weird ending to their fight. So,
dude, I would even argue he has a closer route to the belt at 205, even if I lost tonight.
Maybe. I mean, I think the Cyril Gane fight makes a ton of sense if he wins this one. You go do Cyril Gane. I agree with the way he's looking at it. Like, look, Curtis, I'm going to be above Curtis in the rankings. Cyril's going to need a fight. I'll fight him. And then if I win, I fight for the belt. So
heavyweight division is so weird right now because of the Johns and Stipe thing. Because John and Stipe are kind of in their own heavyweight category. You might they're just going to fight each other and then collect checks and move on. It seems like, Almeida wins this and he fights Gane, and then he fights the winner that would then fight the winner of Aspinall and Pavlovich. Am I missing somebody?
Yeah.
Am I missing?
Yeah, it seems like they're the dudes right now. Gane, Aspinall, Pavlovich, Jailton if he wins. I mean, Blades is obviously there. There's Volkov and other guys coming up as well. But
right there,
those are the focal guys. And then obviously Jones and Stipe and whenever the hell that fight happens. So
yeah, but they're like in their own super fight category where like you might as well not even bother wasting oxygen talking about John. Let me
ask you this. Because we were doing like a roundtable about this, and I had to think about this because had Jones and Stipe remained on the card Saturday, I feel like it was Stipe's final fight, and I feel like John, I don't know if he retires, but I think he's just like, all right, I'm out, peace out. Something cool comes along, like I'll come back. Yeah. But I feel like the delay here and him missing out on this fight and then having to, because I assume this fight's going to happen in July. That'll be another, 12, 13, like 16 months he'll be out before the Stipe fight. I kind of feel like he's going to stick around. I don't know if that's, I kind of feel like he's going to stick around. I don't think he's going to stick around for a long time, but I think like if Tom Aspinall wins on next Saturday, like I think Jones might see something in that fight. Like, I don't know if I feel the same way. Like this will be the last John Jones fight or he's going to take a big sabbatical with this delay, especially if he's out till July of next year. It just seems like it was 3 years before you came back and now you win the heavyweight title and now you're at another 16 months. Do you feel like the delay has changed maybe the thought process for John? Like maybe he does stick around if he beats Stipe?
It'll be a big gap. How about that? It won't.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit. It could be like another 2-year gap. So
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. I don't really. Yeah. Stipe. Yeah. John's fights Stipe, cashes a giant paycheck, and then we just kind of wait for John and we kind of just talk about him a lot, and kind of forget about him, and then he comes back and then we're super excited again. That's what John's been great at these last few years is people miss him.
Will he milk it though? Will he keep the belt? Will he keep the
Ooh.
belt? I feel like if he retire, I feel like if he beats Stipe at MSG, he'd be like, all right, I'm out of here. But like not locking the door behind him. And I think he'd vacate the belt, and they would do Aspinall and Pavlovich anyways for the actual belt. And then if like someone goes on a big run and John gets excited again, he'll come back and fight one of those guys. Or if like somehow
I
a
could see
huge
him.
fight comes along,
I
he would
could
come
see him
back.
vacate. I could see him vacating the belt only because he's John Jones, and that won't affect his paycheck. Him coming in as a challenger. If it affected his paycheck, then I think he keeps the belt. But I don't think it will because of
Okay.
his relationship right now with the UFC. Does that make sense?
That's gonna be super interesting.
Yeah.
It's
And
gonna
John will
super
be if like if you said if he fights International Fight Week, John will be 37, pretty much 37 years old. So
That's
I
like
know it's heavy.
25 in heavyweight years.
It is heavyweight, but John just suffered his first real injury, and that's a real injury, and that's an injury older wrestlers get. By the way, the pec tear. Um, so I think John has to kind of and John and his coaches have to be a little more realistic on the durability of John Jones and like how many training camps can he really do at this point. That's why I think there's gonna be a gap between this fight because now it's just about being just 100%, 1,000% prepared for that next fight and not taking because like that's been actually this is the first time John has actually had to pull out due to injury, correct?
I think you're right.
Which is pretty wild. I think.
That is pretty wild.
I mean,
He's fought people. He's stepped in for injury, fighters who were injured. He's been matched up with fighters who were injured. Got an event canceled because he didn't want to take a fight on short notice, which is, the sport killers, those sport killers at Jackson Wink. Craziness.
All right. What else we got here? Okay, so what's going on in the broadcast?
The cold open just ended. We're getting the aerial shot of Sao Paulo. I assume this is going to be one of those cards where we're going to get like a 25-minute countdown before the first fight.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but we'll see. I'll let you know.
That too. That's an interesting question. Oops.
Callum, Stipe in the DC rematch was in the 230s. Why are we calling for Almeida to drop? It's not like he looks small compared to any heavyweights. I mean, he could do both. I mean, he could do either or.
I mean,
but
Fedor.
Most people, most people kind of feel like Almeida.
He was a 205er.
Yeah, most people, at least once he went up to heavyweight, was like, all right, he's eventually going to go back to 205. Like, we're just kind of waiting on that to happen. But then he just keeps winning, and it's like, well, okay, might as well stay here and not cut a lot of weight. I'm not calling for him to go to 205, but if Derrick Lewis goes out and obliterates him, like, why not go to 205? Like, if you feel like you can go back there, like, go do it. But if you want to stay heavyweight. It's up to him, but I wouldn't rule out a move to 205 if Derrick Lewis kills him tonight.
Yeah. And take in mind, too, this question, DC at 205, I don't think was the best DC.
No, of course not.
DC was always a heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight, but he still is a heavyweight. And I think he's almost like Fedor. I think Fedor, honestly, was a 205er, but he would have struggled to be 205. I'd rather have him at heavyweight. His brain can take a little more punishment. Your brain can bounce around a little bit more from the lack of dehydration. So honestly, I don't know. That's really something only Almeida knows, like that weight cut and how healthy it is. And,
I mean, there's no reason to go down now. Like, why would he? He's 2-3 wins away from a freaking title shot.
All right. Let me see? Here we go. The classic.
Lowkey banger of the night.
That's easy.
I think I know where you're going with this. I'll let you have it.
I am going. Where is it? Renat versus
Oh, I didn't. I thought you
Zaleski.
were gonna go Angela Hill.
Oh, Angela Hill and Gomes is a low-key banger, but it is not the low-key banger of the night. Low-key banger night, because I don't know, because we're talking about of this card, who, on this whole card, who could potentially be top 5 fighters within the next couple of years or whatever, or kind of in that title hunt. Hanat, I can't even say his last name. That's
Fakhretdinov.
Fakhretdinov. Hanat Fakhretdinov could potentially be one of those fighters. That's why,
I think
he's not there yet, but at welterweight, he looks like he could be the real deal right now. So that's why I call it kind of low key banger.
And that's that outside of the main event, that's the fight I'm the most interested in on this entire card is the Fakhretdinov fight. Yeah. He's just super good, and he ended Kevin Lee's MMA career.
Yeah,
he ended it. Dude was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. He made him search. He made Kevin Lee soul search and be like, nah, can't do it. Yeah. So
and the Brian Battle win, that was a good win. And Eric Spice Eric Spicely and Andreas how do you say his?
Michaelitis,
yeah. So and Zaleski's kind of a, what's his record right now? What's his last? Okay. Oh yeah, kind of coming off. He's on 2 straight wins too. Yeah, it's a good fight. Yeah, Zaleski is always a tough out. So
he's got to win over Benoit Saint-Denis. I mean, that was a short notice fight, and Saint-Denis had to jump up a weight class, and the referee almost got poor BSD killed in the octagon that night. But it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably that one. I am interested in the Vitor Petrino Bukauskas fight for both guys, honestly. Eduardo Moraes looked like just an absolute crusher in there, but the weight miss kind of hurts. Elvis Brenner, I'm excited to see what he can do after that comeback win. I am interested in Caio Borralho versus Abus Magomedov. Like, I kind of have no idea what we're going to get in that one, because I just don't know how good either of these guys really are. Like, Borralho has been real good. Abus has been good. He lost to Sean Strickland in his first main event, but that's kind of a weird one because Sean Strickland just went out and beat the hell out of Israel Adesanya for 25 minutes. So maybe that's just going to be one of those losses that ages incredibly well. So that's actually a really interesting fight because I kind of just don't know what's going to happen there.
Yes, sir. All right. What else we got here?
They're showing all the crazy Jailton Almeida stats right now. You know how many significant strikes Jailton Almeida has absorbed per minute?
I know this because you mentioned it yesterday, but it's remarkable. Tell us.
He has absorbed by average the least amount of strikes ever in UFC history. He gets hit 0.08 times per minute. His fights, he's been punched 2 times. He's only had 2 strikes landed on him. That's nuts. It's so insane.
I wonder if there's a prop bet if Derrick Lewis lands a punch.
Ooh, that's actually a great bet.
Yeah,
that'd be a great line.
There's an opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything fun like that though. Nah, I don't see anything like that.
Okay.
We're just still doing packages on Jailton. So, question to Mike and Casey: if Derrick beats Almeida, is this one of the biggest upsets of the year? The odds are very wide. So right now it's minus 485 for Jailton. Derrick Lewis comes back at plus 370. It wouldn't. I'd be like, wow, that's crazy, but it wouldn't. This wouldn't beat what Strickland did to Izzy or a lot of the other big upsets we've had this year. Like Alexa Grasso doing what she did to Valentina Shevchenko. Like, it doesn't beat that. It's probably top 10. But like I've been saying all week, if someone was like, Mike, here's $20, we can only bet on this fight, I would bet Derrick Lewis at plus 370. I think there's value there. I really do.
Yeah. It'd be an upset. It will be the upset of the month. How about that? Well, the second, I mean, the biggest upset
Besides
obviously being
Francis.
Francis. You know, I was thinking of the Francis victory. It's gonna go down like in 5 years or so. People are gonna forget that Tyson actually technically won that fight. It kind of reminds me of the Showtime kick that everyone thinks
Yes.
knocked out Ben Henderson. Ben Henderson didn't get knocked out. The fight actually went to decision. People think that fight that Ben Henderson was knocked out in the Showtime kick. I kind of think I think of it like that in a sense, like, and that's why we think of it as a Francis victory because in a couple years from now, even like the day after, we know who really won.
Yeah, that's why I compared it to Rocky 1, because that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like the end of Rocky, everyone thinks Rocky won. Like how many? Like I've talked to so many people, like, yeah, and then Rocky beat Apollo in the first movie. I'm like, no, he didn't. He lost.
No, he didn't. Yeah,
he went the distance and battled valiantly and went to the cards, but he lost. He lost the fight. People think like cheered for him, but he didn't win. He didn't win till the second one.
Oh, you know what? Since I was on vacation last week, I have not even got a chance to talk to you about the Francis fight yet at all. Oh my God.
It's the best. It's the best.
I have not enjoyed talking about combat sports that much in a long while. It really like, I don't know, woke up my heart in terms of like, oh my God, this sport, combat sports, obviously not just boxing, everything, just incredible. I was watching that I was in Albuquerque and I'm watching it, and Esther, my wife, is behind me, and then it was the third or fourth round when third round when Tyson gets dropped. Esther, who kind of watches, she doesn't really watch fights as closely as I do. She just screams like, "Oh my God!" And I've never seen her just react that big to a fight in a long while. And the crazy part was like, I didn't react. I just kind of like stood there and stared. I was just like, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. Like I didn't want to get too crazy. What was your reaction when the drop happened?
You can watch it. You can go watch it right now.
Yeah.
You can go watch it right now. I screamed. Like I was just like, oh yeah. I was like, he dropped him. He freaking dropped him. And Jose was like, in the whole build, he's like, well, I don't really get too excited when these things happen. So he like kept it even keel. But as the fight went on, Jose started to get a little more animated.
Yeah.
He started to get a little more excited when Francis was like winning rounds down the stretch. It was just freaking insane, man. Like it was just nuts. It didn't make like none of this makes sense. And that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah. It's one of those cool it's one of those fights where there's a handful like where were you when this moment happened? Like were you in an arena? Were you at home? Were you with your friends? Were you working? When this moment, and I kind of had that feeling when he dropped Tyson, like they kind of like, oh my God, I'm seeing something, I'm seeing history right here. Like I felt that, like I have a few of those memories. Like I have that when Holly knocked out Ronda. I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly what everyone around me was doing in the whatever, I remember when Anderson got knocked out by Weidman the first time, like kind of like this whole situation. I remember Anderson, Chael. There's certain like, there's 10 moments I really remember very vividly where it was and kind of how I felt in that moment. And Tyson getting dropped by Francis is now kind of up there too.
In jiu-jitsu news, jiu-jitsu/UFC news, Craig Jones submitted Gerald Mearshard in like a minute and 20 seconds at Polaris. So,
it's really interesting too. We when high-level MMA jiu-jitsu guys go over and compete against just straight-up jiu-jitsu guys, it kind of feels the same when MMA guys, high-level MMA guys go fight high-level boxers. They'll compete for a little bit, but in the end, if you just specialize in heel hooks, you're gonna mess up anybody. What did you get him with? What'd you say? What did you get Gerald?
It's like this looked like a neck crank of some sort. It looked like he was going for a rear naked choke, but he just crushed his face instead.
Okay, yeah.
And then Gerald eventually just kind of had a tap.
I like my face together.
Molly McCann got a armbar submission at that Polaris card as well. So good for her.
Molly McCann got a wow. She knows some jiu-jitsu. Look at her.
Yep. Craig Jones like immediately just kind of like went in and took Gerald's back and just climbed on him and just Gerald tried to shake him off. Gerald did everything right, but Craig Jones is just a freaking monster.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right,
He is a monster. Okay, so the first fight's about to start. They're doing the whole Cowie Fernandez meets Mark Bone Crusher Jacasey. And now we're going to get some sort of stand-up. Someone's going to walk by Heidi Androl, I assume. Or they're going to go to commercial. Nope, we're just going to get straight entrance. Okay. Let's do our predictions here. Bonuses. Who's getting bonuses tonight?
Bonuses. Hanat. Ooh, I'm going to go Hanat. Oh, man. I'm going to say it out loud because I'm going to put it in the universe. Hanat, Derrick Lewis.
He's picking Derrick Lewis. I love it.
Lewis. And fight of the night, we'll go to... Actually, I'm going to go with Bonfim versus Dalby.
Oh, okay. I'm going Renat as well. I will go Caio Borralho.
And not
for the other bonus and not the co-main event. And you know what? Based on my prediction for the main event on the preview show, fight of the night's going to Derrick Lewis versus Jailton Almeida.
Whoa, you think it's going to be competitive? A fun fight then.
It's going to be competitive for 7 minutes until Jailton wins, but it's going to be a fun 7 minutes. Derrick Lewis is going to be in trouble. He's going to stand up. He's got to hurt Almeida at the end of the round. We're all going to get excited, and then Almeida's going to tackle him and eventually submit him. But it's going to be fun to that point.
I will be very excited if this is actually a fight of the night. I don't even care who wins, but I believe you, but I have a hard time picturing it.
You're so nice.
Yeah.
You're saying it, but in your mind it's like he's so.
I just don't see it.
He's so full of shit.
I just see one person dead or the other person dead. I don't see a back and forth, but. Man, it'd be super cool if we get it. I'll be very excited. Man.
I'm trying to put that good energy out into the universe. All right, let's go with our main card predictions. We got Armin Petrosyan taking on Rodolfo Vieira. Let's get some betting lines for you. It's a complete pick'em right now. -110 for both guys. Who gets it done? Is it Vieira or Armin Petrosyan?
Wow, it's a pick'em. That's okay. Interesting. I'm gonna go Petrosyan.
I am also going Petrosyan by decision. If he can get to round 2, I think if Petrosyan can get out of the first round, I think he wins the fight. I think it's not going to be, it will be after round 1, it'll become a number 1 contender fight for the middleweight title. Armin Petrosyan is the freaking Renat Fakhretdinov of the middleweights. Like he's so close to being that guy. He's right there. We got Caio Borralho, the -278 favorite, taking on Abus Magomedov, who comes back at +225. I think I think it's going to be kind of a similar thing where Borralho just kind of weathers the Abus storm. Abus kind of runs out of gas. Borralho tackles him round 2 and then ends up submitting him.
I'm going to go how do I say his first name again?
Caio.
I'm going Caio by dominant decision.
In the rematch everybody has been waiting for in the heavyweight division, Rodrigo Nascimento, the -198 favorite, taking on Don'Tale Mayes, who comes back at +164. Can Don'Tale Mayes get one back, Casey?
Oh, yeah. He gets it back with a first-round knockout. Only because I watched him train last week. I was in Albuquerque, and so I got to see him train. So I was like, oh, okay, he's clearly going to win. He looks really good.
I'm going to take Nascimento and just in a middleweight-ish heavyweight decision. Like, it's
this fight is going to be so ugly. I'm so excited for it. It's just going
to steal one of my favorite Channel Shotty words. This thing is going to be a slog to the ninth power. It's going to be something. We got Gabriel Bonfim, the biggest favorite on the card, -600. The comeback on Nicholas Dalby, who has fought very, very well, very successful in Brazil and against Brazilians, comes back at +440. Are you picking Nicholas Dalby here, Casey? Are you picking the upset?
In a fight of the night performance, the numbers don't lie. Dalby wins by decision.
Wow. I got Bonfim second round submission.
That's probably the smart choice.
Look, I think look again. Betting value wise, I think there's value on Nicholas Dalby at plus 440. I think that line's way too wide, but Bonfim's look real good. Gets the Brazilian crowd again. I think just Bonfim's really good. I think he's just really good. Main event, Jailton Almeida minus 45 here. The comeback on Derrick Lewis plus 370. I got Jailton Almeida in a fight of the night, winning second round TKO. Not a submission. I think he gets him out. Derrick Lewis is going to surprise people with this submission defense, but then Jailton Almeida is going to be like, all right, I'm just going to punch him a bunch, and then the fight's going to be over. But it's going to be thrilling. Some thrilling theater for 7 minutes and 25 seconds.
Almeida gets an early takedown, but Lewis uses that cage, gets up. Bah!
Is there a
First round
rope
knockout.
against the cage? Is there a rope against the cage?
No, this is him squirming his back up the cage.
I thought he was like climbing
yeah.
a rope.
Yeah. They're gonna throw a rope in there. Pull himself up. Pull himself up.
Oh my god, dude! Derrick Lewis winning is which it's just gonna be fun as hell.
He's gonna throw that cup into the cheap seats, all the way to the cheap seats.
All right, hit the music. Literally, the first fight is about to begin.
Nice.
Jason Herzog getting the fighters ready, and it's time, ladies and gentlemen. UFC Sao Paulo officially underway. Kawhi Fernandez versus Mark Jacasey. Mark Jacasey looking to get back on track. Let's see if he can do it. We'll see you guys later on. Enjoy the festivities.
It's
For
great
Casey,
to be
I'm
back.
Mike Heck. Yes,
Great to be
welcome back, Casey.
Thank you. Thank you,
We'll see you
everyone
later.
watching. Enjoy it.
Yes, enjoy the fight, you crazy animals.